The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Guess we can start once again this week. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Bill Jones called away on duty at CBS 11, so it will be Everson Walls and Mickey Spagnola on this Tuesday on Mick Shots on DallasCowboys.com from the SWBC studio here at the Star, where this place is starting to bustle. Like Christmas is on the way or something.
Oh, hopefully playoffs is on the way. That's what I'm hoping.
Playoffs?
Yeah. Don't start. Hey, man, I need to get paid more money. If Bill's going to keep leaving us hanging like this.
You got to get extra.
We got to get
you're
extra.
You're a full-time.
Man. I know, man. I'm
dude.
going overtime.
That's right. Shoot. Well, we are here for 45 minutes on this Tuesday as the Cowboys get back to work, by the way. We already were in the locker room.
Mm-hmm. What'd you find out in there, Spags?
Well, I saw that Malik Jefferson was back in the locker room. So
okay.
I would imagine he's getting ready to be placed on the practice squad once again.
So he cleared?
Yeah, he said he'd just been hanging for this month and,
just hanging.
Kind of told him not to go in. He said he worked out.
Yeah.
He went back to his high school to work out a little bit. But glad to be back. It was funny because his locker used to be, if the locker room, well, I can't explain it. Anyway, it was down on the other side.
Uh-huh.
Now he's on the other side on the up part of it. And I said, they gave your locker away that soon?
Well, they have it like there's some hidden lockers in there.
Yeah, but they didn't have to go back there with the practice squad guys.
Oh, so that's what my picture is up there with the practice squad guys.
You're with the practice squad guys.
Yeah, you got to go around the corner. Oh, yeah. It's way up there, yeah.
Or that's where the guys when they have 90 guys.
That's where they put them over there.
Overflow.
The overflow section. That's
probably
right.
the guys that didn't get drafted, right?
That's what it is.
The rookie free agents, yeah. But anyway, he will be back and.
Everson, I think you're talking about the stadium.
Oh, he's not talking about the locker room.
No,
he's talking about
this
the locker room
doesn't
here.
have pictures above the
Oh,
lockers.
you're right. Yeah,
it's
you're
at the
right.
Stadium.
At the stadium. Because I took that tour. I took that tour with a group.
Yeah, it's at the
and they were
stadium.
trying to find. Thank you, Christopher.
Yes, I just want to make sure you guys.
And I was trying to.
I was confused for a second.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any pictures back
There's
there.
no pictures on top of the lockers.
Yeah, they got like my rookie picture at the stadium. It's.
Yeah. Oh, so where all the rookies are.
Where all the the undrafted around the corner guys, yeah.
All right. Well, good. We got that cleared up. Ran into Leighton Vander Esch, and
good news there.
He was quite relieved himself, by the way, because he was like, oh no, and then he said, yeah, it's just sore now, but he's hoping a week or so he should be back. So.
I complained about him a little bit, because I wanted to be more aggressive, which
he was.
Last 3 or 4 games he's been really aggressive.
Right.
But we still definitely need him, his body.
Absolutely.
We need bodies. We need depth. And if he's out, then, man, we're putting a lot of people in some unfamiliar situations.
Right. And, especially with Damone Clark, even though he had 9 tackles, he's
still a young man.
A half a year rookie.
Still a young man.
So I would think that Luke Gifford, they might have to start getting him a little bit more prepared to play some
Seems like they're a little late on that.
Well,
I guess.
But see what happens with guys
thing.
like that. Then you put them on the defense, and now somebody's got to take a spot on special teams.
He's young. Why can't he do both?
Well,
because we did it.
They don't want to overload guys these days.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Ramp up. Yeah, we were fussing about that.
Which, by the way, T.Y. Hilton, basically, everybody's like, okay, is this the week? And he goes, well, it could have been the last week.
Uh-huh.
But it was pretty funny. He was talking about, I'm ready, da-da-da. And I guess, and I didn't realize this, but I guess his nickname with the Colts was the Ghost because he would disappear on you on the defenses.
Right.
And so he was talking, and somebody said, well, what do you bring? He goes, 1 minute I'm here, and the next minute I'm
That's
gone.
right. You won't see me. Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah. So he sounded ready, and he said he was ready, and he understood the ramp-up part. Like, they're a little worried to put you out there, and you might
Well, I mean, for him, it's been months, a year.
Right?
So, I can get that ramp up.
January to December, right?
But it's not like he's,
and no
coming back
camp.
from a sprained ankle or something.
Right, yeah. So I thought that was, So it sounds like they'll probably get him good to go. And again, but when you do that, that's bringing in another wide receiver that's not going to play special teams.
Right.
And as we talked about yesterday, they struggled a little on their coverage units. Punt return, kickoff return. The last kickoff return was bad
because
they were getting yardage.
That was the beginning of the end of that game.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, from a locker room standpoint, Jaron Kearse, he knows he's probably going to have shoulder surgery, but he's playing through it. Sounded like Tyron Smith got through the game physically okay.
Yeah.
And I would imagine no more ramp up for him.
Oh, it's too late for that now.
Right? 54 snaps is going to have to be 64 or 70, right? And they seem quite happy with how he played. And as I, and J-Ron was trying to explain, it's like, okay, this run defense. And he said, we have to be more aware. He goes, Agnew really hurt us on the end arounds. And he goes, we're an aggressive defense, and we got to keep our eyes on what's going on.
And as they say that, I'm sure it's been repeated. But when you get on the field, you have to adhere to it.
Right.
I mean, because I'm sure they talked about this before every game, especially since we've been doing well, except for this last game.
Right.
Holding down not just the points, but you're holding down particular tendencies that you have. And that tendency continues now with us, and I'm sure they talked about it coming into that Jacksonville game. So for them not to listen, for them not to carry that out, that's a problem, Spags.
Yeah.
And that's something that it was our downfall last year, and here we are. We're coming on that same trend, and I'm not trying to be hyperbole. No hyperbole here. This is for real. This is similar. This is a deja vu moment.
See, and they did a good job, like 4 games in a row, but then they got a team that had the ability to expose their aggressiveness and repeatedly did it too. And usually you get maybe one end around. They must have got 3 or 4.
You can't be, when they say you're exposed, then that means you can't do any better than that. Because we knew this was coming. Anytime someone has speed and they have a good quarterback, someone that can expose not just our lack of containment, but also the ability to cross us up on play action. And we have not consistently made those things to our advantage.
So let me ask you, because they're going to have to get ready for both quarterbacks on Saturday, right?
Minshew?
How difficult is that when they're such different style of quarterbacks to get ready for the guy that's going to run and the guy that's basically going to be in the pocket?
Well, at that, if I would look at it like this. I don't care what Minshew can do. He's not Jalen Hurts.
Right.
And that's the way I would look at it, the way we would go into a game. Usually when we have backups like that, then we just exposed them defensively. That's whether I was with the Cowboys or with the Giants. A guy like Minshew, he just wouldn't be a threat to us at all. I don't care how good the team is or whatever his backup situation is. I don't recall us losing to a to me, compared to Hurts, he's an unqualified backup compared to Hurts.
Right. And he started. He has experience.
He has, yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. But he doesn't have.
You kind of know where he's going to be.
He's not the threat, right? Yeah. He's a guy that I wouldn't call him. I wouldn't call him Sunshine. I wouldn't call him Lawrence. He's not going to be that. He's a guy that if we have to play him, I guess it's going to happen. Then we could. It's a load off. I don't say you relax.
Right.
But that's one thing you don't have to worry about is his ability to run the ball as consistently as Jalen Hurts. When it comes to the pass, I'm not worried about either one of them if we do our job. I'm worried about Jalen Hurts because he is more diverse. Minshew, I don't see him being that diverse.
So Sirianni said he wouldn't say no, he's out, because everybody's saying it looks like he's out. All he would say yesterday is it's not something long term.
Right.
So we'll see where that goes. But this is what happens with running quarterbacks, right? And I didn't realize
They fell in love with it.
So he got hurt in the third quarter on a 3-yard run. He had 17 runs in the game.
Too many runs.
Right?
Yes.
And that's why I always say, it's nice to have a quarterback that can run, but at some point, they're going to get hurt.
And it's not like you're as big as a Josh Allen.
Right.
Who also has to be careful. But you're a guy, Jalen Hurts, these guys land on you like they did. I don't care how strong you are. What is he, 215 maybe? I mean, he's solid, talking about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
But these guys, come on, these guys are twice his size chasing him down. And when
I'm
they
guessing
catch up with you, they're going to punish you.
That's what I was going to ask you. Because when you get a guy like that frustrates you.
Well, you saw it.
Right? If
you
you
saw
can
how
catch
he
up,
landed.
Yeah, that's okay.
He literally, this is what they tell you not to do for quarterbacks. That's how they landed on him as a runner.
Right.
He was a runner on that play.
You're not in the pocket with all that protection.
And so they keep falling in love with that, which I get it, because, come on, he's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been bragging on him even when he wasn't as good as he is right now. He has matured and everything, but he's still a quarterback, and he should not be considered a running back. I'm surprised they're subjecting him to that much when you have a decent running back in the backfield.
So I saw another one, and this would be just as a quarterback. He's been hit the third most times, 184 times. The only two that have been hit more, Justin Fields, what does he do? Right? And Daniel Jones, another guy that kind of likes to run out of the pocket.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with these. Careful. I mean, Baltimore learned it, right, with Lamar Jackson.
He thought he was invincible.
Nice to have him running the ball like that.
And it didn't even look like a serious hit.
Right.
But the accumulation of that pounding that you take, it's got to add up and hurt you a little bit.
And in that game, not only did he run 17 times, he also got hit 13 times, and on 37 passes.
Yes,
that's a pretty high ratio,
pretty high.
Right? So we'll see if they have to, kind of pay for playing with that toy.
That's why they like to throw on time. He is so good when the timing is there.
Right.
When he can sit back, play action. Boom, set, and just throw with not being impeded by any other way, That's when he's good. But as soon as you make him pull it down, he's still a threat to run, which could also be bad if you're not alert. But I think that's the best thing for him, against him, is to make sure that he does not throw on time, throw it off a little bit, make him do something different.
Right, sort of have to improvise.
Which is how he had his first interception in Chicago, which was a horrible pass. He threw it into coverage. There was three guys around there, and hey, he's human. He's like anybody else. You're going to have to make him do something different.
And here was his stats against the Bears, other than those 13 hits. 22 of 37 passing for 315 yards.
Nice.
3 rushing touchdowns,
yes.
2 interceptions. And thus you had a 25-20 game.
It was close, too.
Yeah.
And his defense was one thing, and no knock on ours, it is what it is. That Eagles defense, along with the 49ers, they saved their quarterback and offense over and over again. It was 25-20 for a long time in that game.
Yeah.
So think about that.
And Philly, it's not like they can sit here and go, well, okay, we'll wait on him to get healthy. We're 13-1. But they still need a win to clinch the East and the number 1 seed, which I would imagine that's still important to them.
Yeah, it is. It is. And here's the thing. If we just keep taking care of business, I'm not holding out for them losing all 3 of their games.
Right.
But you have to do your job.
Right.
I have to do what I have to do. What about those stories of all the baseball teams that were in second place all season, but they kept creeping up, and the team up that was up top, they had to falter. 2 things have to happen. You got to stay consistent, and they have to be inconsistent. If they're inconsistent and you're inconsistent, who gives a damn?
Yeah.
We have to do our job. We still have to win our games. I don't give a damn what's going on in Philly. We have to win our games. And when you lift your head up, you see where you are. Otherwise, keep your nose down. Keep your nose down.
And the funny thing is this is probably the best thing for this team if history means anything this year. The Cowboys versus teams that are 500 or better are 6-1. Against the 3 losses are all against teams with losing records.
I don't even know what to do with that. I don't even know. Do I go, hey, that's good? Or, wow,
right.
That's horrible.
And I know, no one's happy with that loss, but over the last 2 months, they're 6-2, which is not bad, right? Over the last 8 games. So, and I pointed it out last week. It's like it's hard to win 4 straight. It's hard to win 5 straight, right? And as I wrote on Friday, to do what the Cowboys think they need to do was run the table on the last 4 games. That would have meant they had to win 8 straight, which is really hard, even if you're really good, right?
But we're struggling now.
League.
We're struggling.
Well, struggling defensively.
We are struggling in facets of our game.
And that's
correct.
got to improve. As J. Ron Kerr said, if you had told me the offense was going to score 34 points, we win that game.
That's right.
And he goes, and we should have won the game.
And we should have.
And so they understand that, where they're at. And, when we come back here, we're going to talk about the cornerback position on things they might have to do there. And at the linebacker position with the injuries the Cowboys are dealing with going into this Saturday game against the Philadelphia Eagles. That next on Mick Shots on DallasCowboys.com.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home. Have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, kpostcompany.com.
And we continue on Mick Shots on DallasCowboys.com. That's Everson Walls. I'm Mickey Spagnola as we start getting you ready for Cowboys Philadelphia on Christmas Eve. It's a short week, so Tuesday is not an off day. It's a work day for the Dallas Cowboys.
It's actually a short couple of weeks, isn't it?
And then it gets shorter because, well, they get Saturday to Thursday.
Okay.
So that helps, and you're not going Sunday to to Thursday,
Right.
but it's still not
That's
Sunday
still
to
short.
Sunday,
That's
right?
right.
Exactly. So a lot of talk yesterday about the cornerback position. Obviously, the Cowboys took Kelvin Joseph out of the game in the fourth quarter. He had given up 2 touchdown passes. Came in with Nashawn Wright, who played the rest of that. And the way Dan Quinn explained it yesterday, that they were going to have, and Jerry Jones emphasized that they were going to have competition for that cornerback
He says
spot.
wide open.
So is that somewhat of saying we're not benching one guy? Because how much competition can you have? I mean, you know what everybody can do, right?
You know what he's trying to say.
Right.
He's trying to say, will somebody please step up besides Boss Man Fat?
Right.
That's what he's trying to say. We gave him a shot, more than one shot, and he's been a bit inconsistent. Much more inconsistent than he is consistent. It's just the way it is. You know, if you have the ability to do better, then you put somebody else out there. But let's be real. There are a lot of cornerbacks in this league that give it up every week.
Right.
And they still have starting jobs. Some of them might even get a pay raise. So, you know, we're holding them to high standards here, of course. This guy was highly touted. You know, came with confidence.
A lot of talent.
A lot of talent.
But you got to know how to cover.
You got to know. And so the play where he got beat, I got beat on that play more than once.
The stop and go.
Yeah, come on, man. We're trying to make a play.
Yeah, but he really.
Yeah. Hey, trust me. I got beat so bad by Brian Cephalo, Miami Dolphins, Sunday night, 1981. I mean, I got beat so badly, I clapped my hands in disgust as I'm chasing him. Okay, I have seen that move before. All right, and you know when you're kind of feeling yourself, then you think you can do that. So I'll give any cornerback some grace, but you got to make your play.
Right.
He didn't do well the last game, a game before last, but he still made some plays to overcome what he had not done, and so he still has to overcome that by, okay, let me shake it off and let me make a play that's going to be significant in this ball game. That he did not do. He continued to fail and fail and fail. And
now, the other one on the goal line's a tough route to cover.
Yeah, it is.
When you're man and all the guy's got to do is fake in and go back the other way.
That's why the aggression has to be there. When you start getting beat like that, then you become soft. Okay?
Right.
And if you're going to be aggressive, then you become aggressive in a stupid manner. Trust me, been there. Not talking necessarily about Joseph, talking about myself, any other cornerback. If you're going to get up and be aggressive, I talked about yesterday, you got to have patience. You got to have poise when you cover somebody. You can't just you can't outthink yourself, okay? You have to be instinctive. And any other time that he comes up against a guy that's lined up tight, the guy was lined up tight. I mean, I don't mean real tight, but he was definitely inset to where you know that he could go across, yes. He could go outside, yes. But whatever you do, don't wait. He waited. He didn't get up and aggressively.
Should have taken the use of his 5 yards and
wear him out because you have nothing to lose. Yes, you have nothing to lose at that point. That's the smart way to go. Playing off, you give him the ability to do what he wants. If you're jamming him right there, then he and the quarterback have to be on a different page. It probably would turn into a fade as opposed to the route that they had, the out route, and then you might have a better chance. So you can help depict what's going on at that time. When you line up off of somebody right there, he can do whatever the hell he wants, and you can't give him that.
Or do what they did in the Giants-Washington game and jump on the guy's back and strangle his neck.
You don't. Well, didn't that work out better? Didn't it work out better for when we against C.D. Lamb?
Because the worst thing would have happened is you get flagged and you got to do it again.
When you get 2 yards,
right.
They might get 2 more yards, right? Because it's half the distance.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, there are times when like I said, game plans sometimes have to go out the window. There are times when you just have to play rough man football. I could call it a lot of different things, but you got to be a dog off in there sometimes.
Right.
And he is that guy. Don't let that take away your aggressiveness.
So here's the other thing that they did a couple times when there was 2 tight ends and only 2 receivers. I saw they moved Deron Bland to the left side instead of him in the slot. Now, how difficult is that for a corner to do both in one game?
It is not difficult at all. I mean, That's what veterans do. Well, no, he's not a veteran.
He's a rookie.
He's a rookie, but sometimes
maybe
ignorance
no longer,
is
right?
bliss.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss. He should not care about where he is. There are times when you can motion over. You have two tight ends, 2 wide receivers on each side. If you motion that wide receiver over to the other side, he's gonna be in the slot somewhere. You're gonna follow him, right? He ends up when they snap the ball, he's gonna be in the slot. He'll be moving. To me, it's the same thing. You cover a slot on regular downs. That's a regular down slot coverage. You can cover it any other time. Now, once again, easier for DBs than it is for linemen.
Right.
But I've always thought cornerbacks can cover either side or slot. It's more difficult, but not from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint.
And they had moved you into the slot.
I was old then.
With the Giants,
yes,
right?
I was old then, and I shut that crap down, man. I was 29, 30 years old, and I'm shutting down slot. So I know these guys who are quicker than I was, faster than I was, much more athletic than I was. I know they can do this. So the mentality aspect of it, that shouldn't even be an issue, okay? It's the physicality, because now you can't read where he might go because the alignment doesn't depict anything because he's in the slot.
So would you be hesitant to move Bland to the outside and have somebody play in the slot?
I would rather you get someone who is accustomed to doing it to continue to do it. If that's Bland, then he needs to continue to do it because he's doing a damn good job.
Because Nashawn Wright's not exactly built to play in the slot at 6'4".
Oh, heck no. Wow. I didn't know he's that tall.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you want to keep him like the Richard Shermans. Matter of fact, they had 2 guys over 6'4", 6'3", with Richard Sherman and the other cornerback. I can't remember where he was in Seattle. So, yeah, keep them on the outside where they can be physical against these wide receivers.
So he's one guy that they could – that's another alternative. And really, he played 19 snaps in the game in the fourth quarter.
He was aggressive.
And that was the most significant snaps I think he's had at the cornerback position. They got Trayvon Mullen, who has played in the league.
Okay.
He's bounced around, but he's on the 53-man roster. And then there's also Sheffield, who I think was a slot guy most of his career. But he's on the practice squad, so you would have to make an elevation there.
And now, let's just be real. If you're not comfortable as a coach with who you have, then we go to safer defenses.
Yeah, that was my next question.
You can go to say you can have certain calls to simplify everything. You want to put pressure on them and say, okay, go at it. How can you handle that sliding man-to-man? Or if you feel like it, we can play a cover 4. I think they do that a lot these days. You can go to cover 2. They're all kind of safe, but still you can keep your aggression. Mm-hmm. It's a safe call mentally, but physically you can keep your aggression. And if Quinn wants to do that, then that's also another way to go.
So with the Philadelphia receivers, would you put Diggs on one of them and then double the other, give the other guy help?
It's been working like that so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember Diggs giving up a bunch of passes in the game.
I wonder which one they would choose because they got 3 pretty good ones.
They really do. I really think a guy like Bland is really looking forward to a game like this. Because he's been going up against some good wide receivers in the slot. He's coming in. He's making a big name for himself. I see that to continue. He's just as quick and physical as any of these Philly wide receivers. I don't think he's afraid at all. He's too young to be afraid.
He's got, 3 interceptions?
Come on, man. I mean, we hadn't had that thing around here, in regards to a guy coming off the bench.
No, 4.
Yeah, he's coming
leading
off the bench.
Team.
Yeah, he's not a starter. Well, all year long.
Right.
That's something that I remember Tom Landry said they were asking. He wouldn't even start me. I had 5. I was leading the league in interceptions on the bench. And finally, well, maybe if we play him more, he'll get more. This is
shocking.
The genius of Tom Landry, right? So he finally put me in, and things continued. I think Bland's the same way.
That's kind of the Van Der Esch thing, right? If you're going to play me more, I might get more tackles, right?
That's right.
So he's got 4 picks. Diggs has got 3. So is saying you have competition in practice on a short week a euphemism for we're making a change?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Because you really, what kind, Do you have enough snaps in practice to have 3 guys competing for one
and
spot?
these kind of practices?
Yeah. These kind of practices.
If you want to call these glorified walkthroughs, all you have to do is make sure that whoever is coming in, if he can come in, the competition that they're putting up against Boss Man, if he can come in and just not make mistakes mentally, it's his job. We'll find out what you can do in the game. But as long as you know what you're doing this week, then it's your job. Okay, it's not his. He's already lost it talking about Boss Man. It's whoever's back behind him. It's up to them to just get in, play solid, meaning in practice. Don't make mistakes. Know where you're supposed to be. Show me that you're comfortable with all of that. It's your job.
So somebody asked me about the competition, and I'm going, these days in practice is to help your mental part, the recognition, right? More so than, okay, I can go cover this scout team guy, right?
Nobody's practicing that hard anymore. They just like energy in practice. Everyone's supposed to be where they're supposed to be. You're not going to make plays during the season in practice. That was what training camp was for. You make plays in the game now. That's why they have, numbered padded practices and things of that nature. They got all the rest in the world that they need so that when you go out there and perform, no excuses.
So one of the difficult things I would think if you're an inexperienced corner is when they give you those bunch looks to one side, right? And I was talking to Bland about it, and he was saying, well, when they do that, it's my job to call out,
determine
where I'm going and where they're going. Because you got to predetermine that, right?
It's predetermined, but he has to continue with it after the ball is snapped.
Right.
So that means everyone's playing. Usually, we have a guy on the line. That guy on the line, he predicates what happens with everyone else. If I stay on my man, it's up to you 2 guys if it's 3.
When they scatter?
When they scatter. You guys worry about that, in and out, whatever you do. But I have to depict how we're going to play this by me staying on my man on the line of scrimmage. We cannot be separated.
Because they want you to bump into each other.
They want you to bump
right?
into each other. So you're supposed to take this guy out in some way, and you kind of depict how the other guys are going to play.
So that would be, to me, one of the difficult things of putting somebody in there that hasn't played as much, to not lose sight of what your job is.
Especially if you don't have a safety over there to help you.
Right.
If you don't have a safety over there to help you, man, y'all better get this right. Y'all better get this right because the safety can cover you, but now the offense does that. They make the safety come over, and now they start working things either from here going to the other side with the crossing routes, or they're going to work these guys over here, maybe with a running back and a tight end.
Because initially, before we saw the replay, when Joseph got beat on the deep route, it was like, I bet he thought he had safety help. And then when I saw,
you
didn't
realize
how. Yeah,
I knew right away because it was a deja vu for me.
Because he was driving towards the ball for 5 yards, and the other guy's going, "See ya."
Ron Springs used to tease all the linebackers and just talk about how, DBs and linebackers were suckers for a move.
Right.
And that's what he was. He was a sucker for a move. Ron would always say, all he's got to do is do that. And then you're gonna bite.
Right.
So that's exactly what happened.
Can't be anxious, right?
No, you can't.
All right. And we're anxious to get to our next segment here on Mick Shots on DallasCowboys.com.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more. Back to Mick Shots.
Bob Lilly Award. The Bob Lilly Award represents the Dallas Cowboys player that showcases the highest level of achievement, sportsmanship, dedication, and leadership. Cast your vote for the 2022 Bob Lilly Award. There is no limit to the number of votes you can vote, and voting will close on December 21st. That would be today, right? Tomorrow, on December 21st. Voting will close. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Bob Lilly Award. That ends tomorrow.
Is that a high school award?
It didn't say. I would imagine it is.
I'm thinking
it is high school. It has to be,
right?
It has to be.
No.
College?
The Bob Lilly Award goes
for
to
the
Dallas Cowboys player.
Dallas Cowboys player. It's the fan vote player.
I'm reading. You got to listen, Spaz.
Oh, you know what?
No, they give it like Dak got it last year.
So I know because in the
Jason Witten got it a lot.
Oh yeah,
the hallway where the Carroll Clinic has the rehab thing across the street at the Baylor Scott and White.
Yeah,
they've got an explanation of the Bob Lilly Award, and they got pictures of. I should have known that. All right, we continue here on Mick Shots on this Tuesday. So we discussed what the Cowboys might do at the cornerback position. We know what they're doing at the right tackle position on offense. That's Tyron Smith. We'll see what happens at the linebacker spot with Leighton Vander Esch expected to be out at least one game.
Okay.
Maybe another. They had Damone Clark in there. So they brought Malik Jefferson back to the practice squad today. We'll see where that one goes, and if they need a special teams type guy, that could be him if they decide to elevate him. Luke Gifford probably has to step in and maybe play some more snaps because Anthony Barr is still kind of working through some stuff, so they can't put him out there for
He's another guy
60
that
snaps.
I think he's out of position. I just think he's out of position. He's not. He doesn't look comfortable back there at all. He just looked like he's
in coverage.
Yeah, and even what a feel for the run. Yeah, how to take a blocker on and things of that nature. You can just see that he's surviving off of athletic ability.
Right.
You know, being able to make those tackles. We talked about it.
So
making
maybe
tackles
he
is
needs
great.
to be on the line of scrimmage.
I think he needs to be on that end.
Like he's a Sam that could be in a three linebacker.
And use him for the for a changeup. Why not?
Rush the quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He could be for a changeup. This guy's very athletic, and right now those offensive linemen are all in his face, and he just seems to be stumbling all over everybody else. When he gets cut off, he's cutting everybody else off when they're going wide on us. There's certain things that we have to see that as coaches, you just got to make that tough decision like you did with Boss Man. This is a tough decision to put a young man in that situation. Hey, man, look, you're not doing well. It's tough to tell a young man that. He's playing as hard as he can. He's getting ridiculed, by everybody. So keep making those hard decisions because we got to win.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't worry about hurting someone's feelings just because the guy is not playing well. If he's not playing well, he should be the first one to tell you. I remember Doug Cosby wasn't playing well. He asked Thornton Chandler, his backup tight end, to go in and ask Tom Landry, can he go in for him?
Oh, really?
Yes, because he knew that he couldn't handle Carl Banks. He knew that Thornton Chandler was a better blocker than he was. And it worked out in everyone's favor.
You know, the other guy that's kind of catching grief was Noah Brown, obviously, for didn't catch it. But as McCarthy pointed out, and Jerry went out of his way to point out this morning on his radio segment, he goes, had the best game of his career.
Isn't that crazy?
He had 6 catches.
I've been there too.
49 yards,
two
touchdowns.
Yes.
And and again, it wasn't an easy catch.
No doubt. But definitely a catch. You got to make that
right?
catch.
And so that was the and the same thing with Dak Prescott. Has an outstanding game, right?
They can say what they want. Rating 107.
Right. And then all they want to talk about is the 2 interceptions, which one of them for sure is not his fault.
Yeah.
And the other one was okay.
Now, see, on the other one, I was looking, Spags. I didn't see anybody touch it.
You didn't see the guy from behind?
I saw him behind, but I thought he was tugging on it. But dang, that don't make you throw it all the way. He's right there.
Well, maybe he couldn't follow through.
Well, he followed through all right.
Did he?
He followed through all the way all over his head. So,
he had a little extra on the ball.
And see, the thing is, you got to call it like you see it. Dak's not going to.
Yeah.
I mean, so we need to call it like we see it. Coaches need to call it like they see it. He needs to. There are times when you just need to just eat it.
And right.
You just got to do that, man. You and Josh Allen, y'all need to chill sometimes and say, you know what? This play needs to just be an incompletion. I don't have to be great.
Right.
This play, especially in this situation. We're down here, backed up. That's not the time to do that kind of stuff. And as a leader, he really needs to start understanding that because no matter what he does, he's going to be criticized.
Yeah.
And I know he don't give a crap about that.
Right.
Once again, though, give me the moments.
Right.
Give me the moments, Dak. I need those moments, which he eventually did.
Right.
You gave us
Let
a 34
him down
point.
there.
Come on, man. What else you want? And I'm about to do it again.
Yeah.
And then, my dude drops it. And that's his dude. So what's he going to say? Oh, man, you blew it.
Yeah. When it might have been his second year, and they were having trouble. It might have been the year when they finally decided they needed to bring in Amari Cooper, right? And he was getting drops and bad routes, and he would always blame himself.
Yeah.
So he finished his little deal. He was walking off. I walked with him, and he goes, you need something? I go, yeah, I'm looking for the stab wounds. And he goes, what do you mean stab wounds? I said, well, if you keep falling on your sword, you're going to have cuts all over you. But that's what a good one does, right?
That's right.
That's their job.
But he also knows that he's going to come back and be praised as well,
right?
Which is also part of his job, is to do well.
So on that play, he had already taken an 8-yard sack, and this is the next one. And I'm sure he was being stubborn, like, okay, we're going to make
this
work.
That's his problem,
right? Yes. We're going to make this work. We can't have 2 sacks in a row.
Right.
And that's what was getting ready to happen because he got flushed out of the pocket.
And so from there, I'm with you. I'm with him all the way. You got to make a play.
Yeah.
Which is what he did.
And sometimes and I don't know if defenses do this, but one way to control the quarterback is to blitz, send an extra guy, and make
from
sure.
From a certain side.
Right.
And they sent it from CeeDee Lamb's side of the field, of the formation.
Which kind of hurts you to see.
It throws off all your timing because that's where you're going to try to go hot.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're, and let's face it, the right side was getting a little overwhelmed during the ball game. And the pressure was always coming from there. And sure enough, at that time, it came from that side. That's what CeeDee Lamb was. So let's think about this. I don't know. Everybody works together. We know where the pressure's coming from a lot. We're having some tough time over here. All game, am I right? So as a coach, you know that's going to be a problem. Why not put the play on this side? Mm-hmm. Why not design it for this side to where you might have a better and a more clear view? Just little things like that to where coaches and players work together. Dak doesn't have to tell you that everything's coming from the right side all the time, the pressure. I mean, you can see that. So why not, let's say we don't want to try to call where our primary is going to be caught up in all of that.
And if you saw how Jacksonville ended up compensating for what Micah Parsons was almost doing, they were putting the running back to his side. Not necessarily to chip him every time, but it had to be in his mind.
At home.
It keeps in his mind.
Right.
It's like, okay, I can't go inside because he's going to get me. I have to power that tackle. And then the other thing I noticed, they were lining the tight end, not necessarily tight, but just a little bit to the outside. So if he went outside, he was going to run into the tight end. So it kind of discouraged him from trying that move because he knew he was going to get hit there or by the running back.
Well, before we go, who's the best player on the field to you for the Cowboys?
Right now?
Just this past game.
Defense, offense, or the entire team?
It don't matter.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know who it is. It's an easy question. Easy. CeeDee Lamb.
Yes.
He's been the best player. And I want to say that because, man, I was on his butt earlier this year, and I know he ain't listening, but just for posterity, I have to say that right now, he's the best player on that team.
He got targeted 7 times, and I'm not big on targets, by the way, but he caught 7 passes for 126 yards and averaged 18 yards a catch.
That's such a huge – I don't know what play that was. They came out real quick. Quick snap, quick throw. He was 10 yards down the field, wide open. There was no one around him but other wide receivers. You remember? And he took off.
That's not supposed to happen that way.
He took off. I don't know where the defense was, but he takes off through their zone, and he must have run about 30 yards. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was. I think that was part of the comeback when we got our last score. And that was impressive to me that he showed aggressiveness. It wasn't about just getting in and sliding down. No, he was making moves throughout that secondary that got us down the field in good fashion to score on that last drive, our last offensive drive.
So right now, 3 games to go, he's already got a 1,000-yard season.
Impressive.
1,087, 81 catches. Now, the 81 catches, he's tied for 9th in the NFL. And if you look at it, the guys ahead of him, Jefferson, Hill, Diggs, Eckler, Kelsey, a tight end, Eckler, a running back, some guy named Adams in Vegas, and Pittman, Indianapolis, who I believe that was the guy the Cowboys had Diggs follow. So he's in pretty fancy company right now. And from a receiving yardage, he's 8th. There's only 9 guys in the NFL right now that have 1,000 yards receiving. So I think he's established himself as a number 1 receiver.
I think he has.
And his ability.
I am no longer trying to wean from Amari Cooper. I'm good. I'm all in CeeDee Lamb. Because he is doing everything that Cooper would have done.
And his run after catch is amazing.
That's right.
Right? That strong runner. Not fast, but he's fast.
I've been waiting on it.
Strong. Right?
Yes.
And this was a strong show,
There
Bill
you
Jones.
go, baby.
We need you back on tomorrow when we continue with Mick Shots on DallasCowboys.com. Everson Walls, Mickey Spagnoli. Y'all have a great day.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.